I would also like to make an ask. I think Rep. Williams makes a great point about having more factions of the community here. And if you could, I know that you have great connections throughout your communities and throughout your districts. If you could help promote these events so we can have even more people here, I would greatly appreciate it. That brings me to a fun question, perhaps. I don't know. What is the state's role in Providence's fiscal crisis?
Okay, and let's agree on like a 2-minute per answer.
I mean, you want to answer? Go ahead, Howard.
Well, maybe a piece of it. You know, a great deal of the land in Providence is owned by the nonprofits that don't pay taxes, and mainly the colleges and the hospitals. So at the state level, we have the payment in lieu of taxes. So hopefully this year in the budget, we give the city of Providence more money because of that. So that's in the works, and I think I asked the mayor, ask the colleges for more money. You know, they like to say they're bringing a lot of tax dollars and their students are spending in the store. That may be all well and good, but there are some buildings that they own that they're not using for educational purposes. They have businesses in there that are for profit. And so some of these things, and for me, that's what's really holding the city back. Because the 50-some-odd% of us that do pay property taxes, we're footing the whole bill. Now we have to get the nonprofits to do their share. And that's going to be a big part of it. How we get there, right now, a small part of it is the pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes. But there's a lot of other things that we need to do.
Currently, the Providence delegation met with the mayor, and he presented the package, and it comprised of the Providence Water, which is it's an issue, a legal issue, so it's not something that can be remedied right away. The others, as Senator Metz mentioned, are the nonprofits. Unfortunately, a couple of our previous mayors had gone into legal agreements with these nonprofits, and while they're still in being enforced, their time have not run out. So we have to somewhat wait on that. In the meantime, come up with a new plan of action in order to make these institutions responsible, because they're buying up properties that are here for this on the city's road, and they're not utilizing them for educational purposes. Some of them are being utilized for parking lots, so they're getting revenues out of that. So it does not apply to the educational aspect of things to qualify them as a nonprofit. So there are other portions that the legal department is looking into to come before these big institutions, nonprofit institutions, to pay their fair share like they should. So that is just a couple of the things that both the city and state are working on together. How realistically it's going to be successful at this particular time, I'm not sure. Also that the taxes, the hotel taxes, a lot of people come through here in the summertime, and increasing that maybe another 1.5 or 1.2% to generate approximately $2 million to try to alleviate some of the expenses.
Don, thank you for the question. There's a saying that goes, as goes the city of Providence, so goes the state of Rhode Island. The reality is it's a very symbiotic relationship between the city and the state. One could just not be without the other. If you look at it strictly by numbers, I mean, you'll see that there's a large percentage of our budget, both on the municipal side and on the school side, which gets channeled through the state. Some of that originates from federal funding, but at the end of it, you have a certain amount that's that's generated by local dollars, and a lot more that's generated by the state. Some of the issues that were brought up here are exactly right. The fact is we have large tax-exempt institutions which are vital to our economy. So let's take the hospitals for one. Lifespan is the largest employer in the state. I think they employ something like 15,000 people throughout Rhode Island, and their largest centers are in Providence. Obviously very vital. The busiest level 1 trauma center in New England is at Rhode Island Hospital, which happens to be in Providence. So, part of what comes about here is that, yes, we do get pilot funding, and very generous amount of pilot funding from the state, although I believe there wouldn't be anyone who argues up here, or at least I would argue for the need for additional pilot funding to match what other states do. But we also need to recognize that there was a very serious recession that hit Rhode Island that I think through the lens of history will show to be a depression that we haven't recovered from yet. But if you look at the economic activity that's generated from Providence, we are the economic engine of the state. And I will argue that we have the economic engine of the city right here in Federal Hill and the West End. We generate more economic activity, I think, probably per capita than you'd see in many other places. Peter's holding up the sign to stop, but I hope that answers part of that.